Yo, what is good, guys? Welcome back to the channel. And I honestly don't even remember my last video, but it's been honestly probably quite a while. It's probably been since Kuro 2's platinum release guide that I did. But yeah, it's been quite a year, chat. Honestly, I haven't played too many games this year. It's pretty much just these three, right? I mean, technically these two because Genshin doesn't count. But yeah, this is once again, as you see in the title, my game of the year. Once again, we'll go over the rules. Typically, once again, I break it down into three categories: gameplay, story, sound design. Sound design is both voice acting and the music. I consider gameplay one of the highest, then story. So pretty much there you go. That's my rules and criteria. It hasn't changed since for all these years. Realistically, I've played once again. My criteria also comes down to games released from January 1st to December 31st. There you go. Once again, it has to be the original release. Cannot be any other regions. Meaning, if something like Persona 5 Royal doesn't count because it's a re-release of the game, it already came out. Also, if it came out in Japan the year prior, I don't consider it as well. Just some things to clear things up. Out of the three games, I played three brand new games this year. It comes down to Elden Ring, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, Lamau. We're not even considered that in the contention, and Kuro no Kiseki 2, Crimson Sin. So obviously, with those out of the way, I think it becomes down to two games: Elden Ring versus Kuro no Kiseki 2. Ultimately, I loved Elden Ring. I think it was an incredibly good game. I did feel like it was really too easy, to be quite honest. Like, I know that sounds like a diss to everybody that thinks the game is hard. I just don't think it was that hard until maybe like the last three bosses in the game. Realistically, I only ever struggled against Melania, the final boss. But once I gave it a couple tries, the boss was pretty easy. It was Melania and Lord Pontifex. I think those were the only bosses that I struggled with in the game personally. Like Lord Pontifex, I got it after a bit. Melania was the only one I was actually having legitimately hard time, trouble trying to understand the move set. But yeah, ultimately we got the platinum in the game. I didn't think it was that bad. I don't understand how people think the game is really hard, especially early game. Like, I one tried whatchamacallit, Graft, which Godric the Grafted and the other guy as well too. I didn't see how it was hard. Personally, I like the story up front, and Elden Ring games do it sort of behind the scenes and weapon descriptions and everything. Doesn't mean it's bad or anything. I just not my style. But ultimately, the game is still incredibly good, incredibly fun, regardless of its difficulty at all. I think it's still a great game. But when it comes down to that versus Kuro 2, and Kuro 2 has its own problems. The amount of, like I said during my review, the amount of bugs. Personally, I don't really like how the story was generated this time around. It's more so the continuality of the series that Nihon Falcom has continued to actually improve, and show that they're capable of doing these games and pushing toward an end goal on a yearly cycle. I still kind of have to give it to Kuro 2. I like, I know I've been giving like Nihon Falcom pretty much the game of the year for years on end now, but to me, they've proven themselves that they can do it. Kuro 2 is incredible. And I'm so happy for you players in 2023. We will be getting, early 2023, we will be getting Legends of the Hero Trails, Azure, Legend of Azure, for the continuity of the Crossbell series. Huge. We've never had that. It's been the first time that it's happened. And we will also getting in English Trails in the River Corridor, which is also very huge for a lot of players. So that means we could possibly see Kuro no Kiseki 1 in English next year, but I would probably put a safer bet as 2025 as Kuro no Kiseki 1 in English. Um, Typically by now of last year, they announced Kuro 2. They haven't announced Kuro 3 yet. Obviously, they have the ending spoiler of the game where they said there is one last chapter, but we don't know if it's coming out this year or another year. So right now we are still waiting on the announcement for Kuro 3. So we might not actually get a Nihon Falcom game next year for the continuation of the series, but they did say they are bringing out Yids and other games as well too. So there you go. Once again, I'm not really too pressured by them. I think it's okay. But I would like to see Cruel 3 next year, and then for them to take a break for the next game in the series. But yeah, chat. There you go. Quick and simple. Cruel 2 Game of the Year, 2022. Till the next one. Peace out.